Okay, here we are, 91.7 WLFR Pomona, with our returning friend, Brandon Smith from Honey, I'm Homeless. Welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, my pleasure. It's been a while. It's been over a year, definitely. And before the COVID broke out last year, you were pretty much a regular on my show, and then we had to take a break, and then I figured out not too long ago, hey, I can do my interviews on Zoom. Why not? First off, how have you been coping with this past year?
Well, it's definitely been interesting. We were supposed to play for St. Patty's Bash last year in New York City. They expected it to be sold out, and unfortunately that got canceled. And then same thing with the West Coast tour. Every day was canceled. So, so for us, that's been tough, but it kind of led to us finishing the album, finally getting it recorded. So that's kind of a blessing in disguise, but we're still, we're missing playing live. That's our biggest, most fun. It's the way that we get ourselves out there. So it's weird dealing with, but we're here.
Yes. Have you been doing Zoom concerts for your friends and all, on virtual shows or what?
Yeah. Me and Sassy, my bass player, we did a couple Facebook Live shows, and they went pretty good. But then the bars started opening up, so we were like, okay, we're gonna see if maybe we can get in there and do that stuff. And there's no bars that are local that are interested in original music, so that's pretty much where we're at. So we might do some live streams again, but probably we're just gonna hopefully release the record and then hopefully get back to playing live somewhere. We'll see.
Very good. Well, I hope so. It looks like more and more people are getting vaccinated as we go along. Hopefully we'll get to a semblance of normal in the next few months. Okay, I am crossing my fingers.
Yep. Same, I'm hoping.
Yes. Okay. Hey, I know you are pushing your single that we are going to debut here. You just mentioned a record. Is it a full-length album also you're working on?
It
is. Tell us something about that.
Well, it's called Remission Impossible. We've started recording it, probably started doing the demos for it in like 2017, maybe even before that. So it's been a long process. And then I just decided to go up to Roho Sound Studio up in Kenilworth, New Jersey, and we did the drums there. And then I finished pretty much everything else at home. Did some of the vocals up there and the drums, and then pretty much then decided, who do I want as featured, who do I want as special guests and artists on this, because I really want everybody to be involved. So it all just kind of unraveled, and the first person I called was Nancy Malcoon, and I was like, we did Stolen together on the last record, and I was like, I gotta have her on this one. I gotta have her, doing the song that Al, my drummer, calls the Edwin Stapleton tune, which is a mix between Edwin McCain and Chris Stapleton. And, so it's definitely way different from what we do, but it was perfect for Nancy. And I'm just really glad that she got to collaborate with us. And John Cady from Behind the Beautiful and Stellar Mojo, he sings on all but one of the entire album. So he's heavily on this album.
Yeah. So you're definitely not the lead singer much anymore. Is that it?
I am still.
You still are.
Yeah, but I don't want to be. I never want to. And I've told John that. I tell him every time. He's like, you want to be a singer, don't you? I'm like, yeah, I do. I want you to sing for the band because I don't know. I just sing out of pure necessity, and I'm not a very good singer. I just do it because I do it. But I would definitely like someone else to sing for the band.
Well, I'll say also, and personally, I think you do a great job. All right. I mentioned this several times. First time I ever saw you, it was with your previous punk band that I still say had my favorite name. I see you rolling your eyes. Aretha Franklin. I know. It was fun. It was fun.
It was fun. That was one of the funnest bands I was in for sure. I think the Boneyard was our favorite place. Rest in peace.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I miss that place. Oh, that was great. That was great. Okay, back to Nancy Malcoon. She's a great singer. I was lucky enough to be involved with her myself a few years back when she had her video made, and she wanted to do a Walking Dead zombie thing, and I was one of her zombies.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. That was a great video.
Oh yeah, a lot of fun. So with the single that you're dropping for, what I'm with her right now, tell us about that.
Well, that one is the final track on the album. It's called 29, and I just wanted something that would tie up the whole album, and just kind of be like a roller coaster ride, start to finish. So I wanted it to be like, here's a story of a guy that's found a new love, and he wants her to be around. But then, when you hear the song, you'll see the ending kind of takes another turn, and then it's almost rock opera-ish. It kind of it's definitely an interesting ride to listen to, and it's by far the longest song we've ever made, by like twice or three times the amount of time. But
oh wow,
yeah. So it's definitely something. It's like nothing we've ever done.
All right. So then it's a duet with her. Is it you singing or your other singer?
It's me and her.
You and her. Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. Why don't you give us a rundown on the band? Okay, I'm a band members in general for Honey, I'm Homeless.
Okay. Well, it's mostly me on guitar and vocals, and I write the songs. Then Al Olivero is on drums, and and he's gonna start singing backups and doing that stuff with me too, because he's a great singer and great guitar player and piano, and he does a little bit of everything. So he
does. Yeah, I know. I've seen him.
Yeah, and then Sassy from Aretha Franklin, he is our bass player now, full time.
Nice.
And same thing, he sings backups with me, and we're all going to start. I try to get them to start writing together. I'm a little, I don't know. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it's, I wrote this. Here it is. So it's still mostly me writing, but I want us to try to get something together someday, I hope.
Okay. All right. And your other singer that you mentioned?
Yeah, John Cady sings.
John Cady,
mostly all the recordings.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love for him to sing with us live. He's just got such a busy schedule with the stuff.
Oh, all right. So he only sings on the for recordings. On live shows, is it all you then?
Yeah, live shows so far it's just me.
Oh, okay. All right. That has to be All right. We're not doing live shows right now, but still, and do you ever get audience members asking, hey, why you say different voice live compared to your CD or something?
We get that sometimes, but I'm at least somewhat prominent in every song in the recording anyway, like even backup or whatever. So it's, and they know that I wrote it mostly, or if they just ask and be like, hey, so, you know, I sang and wrote the song on the demos. So I'm just like, you know, it's just similar to me. It's not as good, but it's, you know, still the same song. So people tend to like it either way, which I'm lucky for.
Very good, very good. All right. Okay. I know that before all this happened, meaning the COVID, I saw on your Facebook posts and all, how you were having such a good reception, little bit farther north of us, up in New York. Why don't you tell us a bit about that? I found that very, very interesting.
Yeah, that's definitely been our new home, especially in the East Village in New York City. It was pretty much just a place we've always wanted to go. It's just, you know, the fact is it's a really hard place to get into. It's a hard place to stay into once you get there. It's just like, it's a whole different world up there because, you know, and there's not shows that are centered around genres up there either. So, you know, one night we'll play in the East Village and we'll play with a folk rock band. We'll play with a funk band. We'll play with a girl just playing piano. You know, there's no such thing, you know, it's not, oh, we're playing a punk show here. It's just, no, we're the punk band in this lineup of, you know, 10 bands that all sound completely different and are all some of the best bands you've ever heard.
Cool.
So it was one of those things that really was just, we're an average band in New York City, which I like because every band is good because you don't get playing places up there unless you're really good. So that was a challenge that I wanted to do. I wanted to do the first one, which was we played at Drum in the East Village. And I said, you know, if we do good in this one and they want us back, let's try something else. So the first show we did, the place went crazy. They were like, oh, we never even heard music like this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This is where the music that I love came from. The original here. You know, what do you mean? Down the street in the Bowery. Like, you know, this is where it began. So for me, I was like, it just has strayed so far from that everyone had, you know, they said in the East Village especially that they were hearing like a lot of bohemian bands and like Mumford and Son type stuff. And then for us to come out was like a breath of fresh air. So yeah, that was weird. But yeah, we loved New York City. We loved, like my cat's trying to make a special guest appearance behind me.
I noticed.
That's Harley. Say hi, buddy.
Hey, Harley. All right then. And for our radio listeners who can't see the video from Zoom.
True.
Brandon's got a cute little black cat that is crawling into the window behind him every now and then, which is cool.
So the East Village, we played, I would venture to say probably half the venues for original music in the East Village. We played there a lot. And we played Brooklyn at the Knitting Factory, which is one of my favorites. That's probably my second favorite place to play. And Brooklyn is very similar to the East Village in a lot of ways musically. But it's the same kind of thing. It's not like, you know, there's other markets and places where it's kind of dog eat dog and people are, but it's really not like that in the East Village because there's just, you know, it's comparing apples to oranges. So you're not competing with, you know, this folk group because you sound nothing like them. So you can play around with each other at 10 venues. It doesn't matter. That's why I think at least when I was growing up down here in Wildwood, you know, any place we'd play, the bands would be very similarly genre based. So it would be like, okay, this band is doing this, you know, we're better than this band. We should be getting more of these, you know, and that's not like that up there. It's just kind of, if you're good, you stay. If you're not good, you're booed off the stage and you're not coming back. So,
wow.
Yeah. So I like doing that. LA was completely the opposite. We'll say that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Tell us a bit about LA. Hey, also, I would love to hear that.
Yeah. So I went out there in January last year for Grammy weekend. And, you know, my mentor and teacher, Bill Catarini, he's a Grammy voting member. And he was like, you know, you got to come out one of these times and you got to, you know, see LA. So I'm like, all right, you know, I'll go out there. I want to have something to do. So a company that we work with that gets us some shows in New York City, they also have all the stuff in LA, and they also have in Texas and other places as well. So I immediately was like, hey, I'm going to be in town this weekend. Do you guys have any venues that have opening slots? And they were like, absolutely, we do. We got a primetime slot in downtown LA, a place called The Resident. And you could play there on Saturday night, Grammy night. And then Friday, I was at the bar on Sunset, which was right on Sunset Boulevard, right in, basically across the street from the Comedy Store. So I got to see the Comedy Store too, which was legendary. And so it was just, it could not have been more different than New York City. As far as, you know, out there, every band is kind of average. Like, not to slight any band, but compared to New York City, where every band is incredible and you're the average one, you know, I was a superstar out there.
Oh, wow.
I'm average everywhere else, but in Los Angeles, I was the man.
Wow. Okay.
So that was very weird. There was a band called, oh man, I got to look them up on Instagram. They're a reggae band. They played with us. They were unbelievably good. They're called SGW Vibes, I believe it is. Or I know I'm messing up the letter combination at some point, but I think it's something like that. SJV or SGV Vibes, something like that. But yeah, they were really great guys. And LA is just, you know, the first show we did was a lot of people schmoozing, and you know, it was, some people were playing like, you know, Cindy's mom paid the door guy $50 so she gets the opening slot. You know, it was like kind of stuff like that. So, you know, so I'm playing up against people that are, you know, very average, and it's like I said, if the people hear this that were out there, no disrespect to you, but you know, it was totally different. And yeah, the place loved it, and they immediately that night sent me an email and says, we want you to come back to LA if you want to do this showcase every year. I said, absolutely, of course. I was going to go back in January, but of course this all got yeah. So that was the beginning of that was actually the first case of COVID in Los Angeles. Was the day I was at LAX airport, and that was the first case in LAX airport that day.
Shoot! Wow.
Yeah. So that was before everyone had to wear masks. So on my flight back, you know, half the plane is wearing masks, half are not, and I didn't know what was going on. So I think I even put a Facebook status. I was like, you know, everyone around me is wearing masks. What's going on? And I think like all the comments were, oh, there's this new disease coming around and you got to be careful. And I was like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. And then, you know, we watched the news on the plane and all, and saw that whole start to go. So
it's scary.
I hope I can go next year, because I really liked LA. The people are, you know, that's why it's so crazy, because New York, the people are not nice. They're not nice to you, like to your face. They're not friendly, but they are as honest as can be. And that's what I respect so much about New York, is that, you know, like we'll get done a set and somebody will be like, you know, that was really bad, but I hope you come back because I want to see this again. And then, you know, and then there'll be people that come up that say, you know, that was one of the best shows I've ever seen. And I know that they're not lying to my face. And you know, so it's, you know, and then LA is like the opposite, because I don't know how people really felt there. It's very, you know, like New York City, the surface is literally everything. It's just what's there, it's there. There's no underlying meaning. LA is only underlying meaning. And for you to figure out what people are actually trying to say and do is just, it's hard to do out there. But it's really, I can see why people go to LA to get discovered, because it really, it is about who you know out there. It really is.
Wow. Okay. Tell me this though. Since you were out there for Grammy Week, were any of the events Grammy related? Did you crash a Grammy party or something? Tell us, you know.
Okay. The first day, which was, I believe was the Friday that I got there. I think I got there on Thursday. Yeah, I got there Thursday afternoon. And I knew that Friday I had the Grammy Showcase show, which was like part of the Grammy party of like the weekend on Sunset Strip. So that was kind of Grammy related. But the first day I was like, okay, I can go to this other, pre-Grammy party on Thursday night, or I can go, to the other side of town and see where the Black Dahlia was murdered, which is what I ended up doing.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I took a taxi, and and the people came out of the house, and because they're so used to it, because it just happens to them all the time. So I was like, does it ever bother you or feel weird that people are coming in front of your house to see this like macabre, where this woman was murdered 50 years ago, 60 years ago? And they're like, we're so used to it by now, and there could not be nicer. And so that was interesting. That I've always wanted to go see that. And then, sleeping off the jet lag. And then Friday was the Grammy party that I played, and that was really fun. And that was the same thing, shaking hands with producers and talking to big industry people and everybody schmoozing. And it was definitely interesting. Yeah, the next one wasn't technically a Grammy related thing, but then that whole day was just a roller coaster, because that was actually, we could see where the plane crash happened with Kobe. We were right there. So
wow.
That was that day. So, I was at near the Burbank airport, and we heard like a little bit of the news. So I was like, okay, well, let's go get lunch in town. We'll go like near the Walk of Fame or something, So we went out and we ate at Shaquille O'Neal's restaurant, which is called Shaquille.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was amazing. Everyone was really nice. It's right in front of the Staples Center. So, we're starting to eat our lunch, and we look out the window. And we're like, oh my God. And we see people in droves, just thousands and thousands of people. And they got their Kobe jerseys and flowers. And we're like, oh my God, what's going on? And we were the very first people to hear the news in LA next to the Staples Center. So that was surreal. And then we were at the candlelight vigil, literally looking at it from being there. And then we went outside and we saw all the people. We were right in front. I got a bunch of pictures and video. So that was like the start of that day, which was crazy. And then, we got to see the Walk of Fame, the Comedy Store, all the attractions of LA. There was a movie that was coming out that they had a big premiere party for in the middle of the street. What was it called? It wasn't The Suicide Squad. It was the one with Harley Quinn. What movie was that?
I'm on Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey, yeah. So Birds of Prey was the big premiere, and they had this. It was, I've never seen anything like it. I probably won't unless it's in LA. People probably see it all the time. But you walk down this like courtyard, and in the courtyard they have just these, these lights coming down and these 3D things, and it's like a giant light show, and there's people around fire things. It was just crazy. And that was pretty much LA in a nutshell. Anywhere you walk, there was some kind of crazy display going on. You got the Spider-Man impersonators out with people, and it was like it was Times Square-ish, but like a different vibe. But LA was really fun. I hope we get to go back.
Great, man. Great stories there, man. And did you ever see the famous Chinese theater there? Was called Mann's. Now it's like TCL Chinese Theater or something like that.
Yeah,
I think it's called. Yeah.
yeah,
Very famous landmark.
yeah. Got to see that a little bit. We kind of perused right past that, but then Jimmy Kimmel Live was right near there. What else did we see? There was a bunch of so there's a big guitar center over there. It's huge.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we were just there was like 2 days of doing that. The night was much more interesting in LA. And the day was fun. I mean, it was just, it's January, it's 70 degrees, it's beautiful. It was definitely a really good time.
Okay, good. And, I do hope it worked out for you. That you made some good contacts there, and you know what? Hopefully, one day soon we will see you at the Grammys. How's that?
I hope someday.
Bring Nancy too. I'm a shoot like that.
Yeah, especially her. If 29 goes platinum and we win a Grammy, that's all her.
And it will be debuted right here on WLFR first. Don't forget that. There we go. And thank you for that also. Oh man. Well, all right. With 29 and the forthcoming album in general, is the music along the same vein that you've done before? Are there any differences? Is the songwriting different this time around?
I'd say it's definitely different. There's a lot of similarities as far as, just the way I write is kind of OCD. I definitely have a formula that I write. And that formula is kind of similar. There's still like fast-paced punk songs. There's still, brooding alternative songs like the last album. But there is definitely a major difference with the songs are more pop, but they're also a little heavier. It's just kind of all over the place. It's definitely different. Yeah, every song is something different on the whole album, front to back.
All right, looking forward to that when it's all ready. Any timeline when the album's going to be out?
I'm hoping by September.
Okay, all right.
We're still like, it should have been out last November, but I would listen to it back and be like, you know what, I should have redone this part. I should have done this, which is why it should not be in my hands to be mixed. It is right now, but that was the same thing with the last album. It took 3 years to release because I just could not get it right. So finally I gave up and said, you know what, I'm going to this guy. I'm going up in North Jersey. I'm going to record with him, and it's out of my hands and I'm done. So I think that's probably what I'm going to end up doing, is just saying, you know what, I leave it in your hands. I trust you because I'm an engineer. I do it for a living. So I can't let myself mix and record my own album. It just will never get done.
Oh, yeah. All right. Is it kind of like the situation we had with Axl Rose and the Chinese democracy? He wanted to over and over again.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. Yeah.
Exactly. Perfectionist, right?
Yeah.
Well, in that respect, at least, we are looking forward to something good then,
I'm hoping. Yeah, 29 was definitely it took the longest by far of any of the songs.
All right.
That has over 60 tracks, that song. So.
Wow. Okay. All right. We'll be getting to that right away then. Okay. Where can people find you online if they don't know already?
Yeah. You can find us at honeyimhomeless.com. That'll have all of our social medias up. You can check all that there. You can also find us on Instagram at honeyimhomelessnj. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/honeyimhomeless. Twitter at honeyimhomelles, because it wouldn't fit. So it's just honeyimhomeles. Honey, I'm homeless, missing an F.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, yeah, you can find us all over social media. Instagram is probably the best place to see us. We post, pretty regularly. So you can find us on there. And yeah, but honeyimhomeless.com has everything. It'll have, where the new album will be. It'll also have the release of 29 on Spotify next week.
Nice. Oh, we are beating Spotify then. Hey. Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you for that, man.
Right. No, you always got the exclusive.
Thank you. Okay. As always, best of luck with everything. I hope it all goes well. And I'm on one day. Okay, I'm on one day soon. I really do want to see you at the Grammys. That's the truth.
I hope.
All right, man. Good luck with everything, and we'll be seeing you.
All right. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.